My friends, and welcome back to Darkwoods Paranormal. This is True Crime Thursdays, where the shadows of fact are often darker than any fiction we could ever conquer. Tonight, we open the book on a case that has baffled investigators, haunted families, and left the world asking the same impossible questions. How does a family vanish without a trace? This is the story of Bobby and Sharon Jameson and their younger daughter Madison. What began as a simple drive into the remote hills of Oklahoma would unravel into one of the most chilling mysteries of our time. Empty trucks, cryptic letters, strange surveillance footage, and whispers of something far darker than the consequence. But before we stepped into the unknown, you can follow our journey into all things unexpected at darkwoodsparanormal.com. There, you will find our latest investigations, past episodes, and links to all of our social media, where you can join the community, share your theories, and keep the conversation alive long after the microphone has gone silent. And of course, I'm not here alone. In this, at my side tonight, as always, is my brilliant co host, the voice that balances the dark with the clarity. My dear friend and colleague, Raven Knight.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Welcome. Tonight, we will shift through the evidence, the rumors, and the shadows surrounding the Jameson family disappearance. A case with more questions than answers, and just enough strangeness to make even the most grounded investigator shiver. So, my friends, dim the light, pour yourself something strong, and settle in. Because on True Crime Thursdays, the truth is never simple, and the woods are always watching. Raven Knight, how you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you, Gabriel?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. I am kind of excited about this case.
Me too.
I don't I don't know. Do you know anything about this case, Gabriel?
I did a little bit of research ahead of time, but for the most part, I've never heard of the Jameson until I started doing research for this episode.
Okay. Well, it's a very interesting case. And I am excited to talk about theories with you.
Oh, I love
So,
theories.
me too. Me too. And I see that we have a couple people actually already in the chat. So if they have any theories about what they think happened, I would love for them to pop on here, of course, and tell us what they're thinking. But this is a very interesting one. So what do you think?
Well, let's get at it.
All right. So, as you had already mentioned, this is the case of a family called the Jamesons. We have Bobby and Sherilyn. They were husband and wife. They weren't outsiders or criminals. Actually, on paper, they were struggling just like any family, but they were ordinary people. They lived in Oklahoma, and Bobby was a quiet man. He was often battling back problems. So he had um, some residual back problems from a car accident that he was in. This actually occurred in 2009. So he was in a car accident in, I want to say 2005. I'm probably going to get that wrong. But he was in a car accident which kind of messed up his back. He had some issues from that. He had some other issues as well. He couldn't work full time anymore. And then his wife, Cheryl Lynn, she was very outspoken, very witty, and also known as sometimes very fiery. She also had some issues we're going to get into a little bit here, but they also had a daughter. Her name was Madison, and she was 6 years old. She was, like any other 6-year-old, bright and
Right.
playful, and just a regular 6-year-old as well. So, like I said, Bobby had been injured in a car accident. He was suffering some depression from that. He was dealing with some of those things. And Sherilyn, she actually had some, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So, this might come up a little bit later when we talk about theories as well. But just to be noted, they were both struggling with some mental health issues.
Okay.
But all that to be said, they decided that they wanted to move from where they were living currently and they wanted to move out and off the grid. That's what their plan was. They wanted to live off the grid, which I thought, for somebody like you, Gabriel, this is kind of your ideal situation. Live off the grid, go find a plot of land and build, and that's what they wanted to do. So their
With
goal was to go.
I mean, you said it was kind of me thing. Just so it has internet and like a coffee place not too far away, I'm in. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if they really had the like. I think they were going off the grid, off the grid. Like that's
Yeah.
what I think.
No, thank you. I do enjoy my hot showers, my cigars, and TV and internet, so we can bring good shows like this to our folks.
Oh, all right, that's fair because I am the same. I need a hot shower.
How
I
about
need
the
a hot.
cigars? You in?
I could do a cigar, although apparently I'm not very good at smoking them, but it's
You
fine.
are not.
I
It's a
am
waste.
not. It just means I need more practice.
True.
That's what it needs. Yeah. I
So
mean,
the
you could still do
Jamesons.
cigars and live off the grid. So they decided to go to the San Boise Mountains. And this was in October of 2009. They set off to go look at a plot of land that was in the San Boise Mountains.
Right.
All right. Now, a few days later, and we'll talk. We'll get into a little bit more. But a few days later, a dirt covered roadside in Lanier County. The scene inside was almost too bizarre to believe. So inside their truck were their IDs, their wallets, their cell phones. Bobby's checkbook was in the truck as well. And are you ready for this part?
I am.
$32,000 in cash was inside of an envelope inside their truck.
Okay. That was found, I'm assuming.
That was found.
Okay.
It was, yep. So all of
Okay.
their IDs, all that stuff was in their truck. And even the family dog, Maisie, was in the truck. She was alive, but very malnourished. So it was weird because when they found the truck, they were like, okay, why did they leave all of this stuff, including their dog, in the truck? It didn't look like they were going away for a long, like going away for a long walk or anything like that. Why would you leave your dog?
Never
In the
leave your
truck.
pets in a enclosed vehicle.
Right. Especially, and also $32,000 cash, that just seems very strange.
That you can leave. Just let me know
But
when. That's all.
that's fair. That's fair. So the truck was just there. There's no signs of a struggle anywhere around the truck. It wasn't broken into. It was just left there as if they just were planning to go for a walk and come back soon. All of that to be said. So there was an extensive, I don't want to say investigation, there was an extensive search for the family because obviously, we have 3 missing people, including a small child. There were 300 to 400 people that went trying to
A
search
big group,
this area.
right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. There were helicopters, police, ATVs, like all of those things. They were trying to find this family and they couldn't come up with anything, no evidence at all. At all. So once they start doing more of an investigation or investigating the family themselves to see, like, okay, of course they're going to do some background stuff, like what happened to them, where did they go, they found something that turned this story into something a little bit more strange. And that's, of course, those kinds of stories I like to pick are the strange ones. So they had surveillance footage from the day that the Jamesons left their house. And this video shows Bobby and Sherilyn just basically making a trip back and forth from their house to their truck, carrying some things, loading belongings, but they weren't like normal. They weren't acting normal. People who had watched the video said they acted very zombie-like or robotic. They were very blank.
What videos?
It was a surveillance video from
Oh.
outside their house. So, yeah, they were just very strange when they were doing these movements. It just didn't seem right, is what people had said about the situation. So, um, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of that. I want to get back. I want to get back to. I'll get back to that in a little bit because for 4 years, nobody actually knew what happened to the Jamesons. They were just gone. There was nothing. But then, in November of 2013, two hunters stumbled upon skeletal remains 3 miles from where the truck had been. The remains were scattered, but not quite scattered. When I initially started researching this, it said it was scattered, but then when I really dug a little deeper into this, they actually were all in a line, laying face down. So they were all pretty close to each other, and they were all laying face down in a line. Their bodies were far too decomposed to actually know what their cause of death was, but it just was a very weird way, we'll say, for them to be placed or for them to be. Okay. The kicker, though, is that, how I talked about before. So most of the time when somebody goes missing, there's about a 6 to 8, I want to say 6 is probably more appropriate, 6-mile radius that people search in. Did you know that?
I
not
did
very
not
far.
know. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's
No.
not very far that they search.
It's not very far. It
Um,
doesn't seem very far at all.
No, it's kind of ridiculous, actually, but that's a whole other thing. They were 3 miles from their truck, so they weren't super duper far from their truck to the point of like we had 300 to 400 volunteers going in and trying to search for these people.
In a
We
six
had
m-
ATVs.
6 mile area.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they were found 3 miles from their truck, and they weren't found before this 4-year mark. So
Okay.
very interesting. Um, it's just kind of like how did they just suddenly appear, in that spot is another question. So I want to go back a little bit because we were talking about how they had walked kind of in a weird state,
Zombie-like.
zombie like. So one of the things that Sherilyn for sure was into was the paranormal.
Okay.
She was into the paranormal.
Right.
She actually very much believed that their house was haunted.
Why did she believe it?
Bobby, strange things were happening inside the house. I couldn't
Okay.
get like a ton of information on what they were. She told people she started seeing spirits, ghostly figure of a little girl in her house. And Bobby confided in his pastor that he felt attacked by dark spirits.
Okay.
There was also something that I read that he'd even asked about exorcisms.
Okay.
So they were both maybe seeing some things in the house. Also, there was a satanic Bible that was found in their house.
Never
Mhm,
good.
let's see. Never good. So some people
I mean,
kind of
unless you're a
speculate.
satanic cult, then I guess that's the norm, right?
And of course, I did a little bit of digging to see if there was anything about that with them, actually, to see if maybe they had what their religious affiliation might have been. Were they involved in a cult? Were they involved? But there was nothing. They were very private people, so there isn't a lot known about them before this whole thing happened. So what their religion, any of that, I don't really know. I don't really know what they practiced, those kinds of things.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, of course.
You said that they found the bodies. Was it also the daughter, or was the daughter not show up at this version yet?
No, it was all of them.
All of them. Okay.
All of them were found in the same spot.
Okay.
Yeah. And close to
And-
each other.
And do we know how they died?
No. So their bodies were too decomposed at this time to say what it could have been, what their cause of death could have been. They were too far decomposed.
So they were
Which,
decomposed quickly then, I guess, right? Because they went
well, this
missing.
was
If they found the dog in the car still, then that would
mhm.
lead me to believe that it was day, maybe couple days.
So that's a pretty good thought. I would probably agree with that. That it would have been probably whatever it was, probably would have been quick. The only
So they would
thing,
so they would see the car and then they would want to why are you making a face like that?
I'm just waiting for you to
Oh, okay.
go ahead,
So
go ahead.
so they found the dog alive, right? Up to this point.
Hmm.
And
Yes,
so then they started searching. I mean, obviously they ran the plates and they this was 2009, you said?
yes, yep.
Okay. Then they ran the plates and then they started a search party, right? So how does the body decompose that quickly? Is that the
Well, this,
mystery within this?
no, no, no. 4 years later, so they found the bodies four
Oh,
years
they didn't
later.
find the bodies right away. They found it
No,
4 years later.
yes,
Jeez.
but
Alien
that
abduction.
was. They said that in the chat. Um,
Oh, did
that
they?
is one of, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Somebody did say that in the chat. Um, that is one of the weird things, though. That's what I'm trying to say. They were found 3 miles from their truck. The area was searched before that. Oh, I don't know how many days they searched. That is a wonderful question. I'm not quite sure. Um,
well, you said they covered about a 6 mile a radius, correct? And they didn't find. Is it possible that they overlooked them? 3
it
bodies.
is, it is possible. I mean,
I mean, maybe
but
they had the B team out there, not the A team. You know. I mean, no. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, volunteers, God bless them. You know, going around searching for missing people. It's not a good job. However, uh,
this, yes. Well, I believe that this was, I should probably tell you, this was on the 40, there were 40 acres of land that they were going to, they wanted to live off the grid, so they were actually going to this place that they wanted to potentially buy.
a
So
cult.
this,
Absolutely, it's 100% a cult. They were gonna buy property from the cult. They had the money. They're checking it out. They killed them. Absolutely. Yep. Case solved. Cult.
well, thank you guys for listening to Darkwoods
Yeah,
Paranormal.
great to have you guys. Sorry
You
about that.
solved
I
this.
solved it in 18 minutes flat.
How did you do that?
So that would explain the money. So, if you're just going to back up for a second, I'm just using logic, Gabriel Von Graves logic. So,
All right.
they're carrying $32,000, you said, um,
Yep.
looking at buying a plot of land, 40 acres. So, more than likely that they're meeting up with somebody. So, I would look into the owner of the property. He walks them, they're following the property. All of a sudden, he's like, "Yeah, you want to buy it?" They're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Where's the cash?" "Don't have it on me." And he's like, "You're playing games, brother." And then they die. Solved it.
Listen, that is one of the biggest theories of this case.
Is it
That
really?
is, that is. There it is.
Well, what do we know about the guy that owned the property that they were looking at?
And I don't know. That I don't know. I even
Okay.
tried to do a little searching on that too to find out who this person was. I don't,
Oh,
I feel like this was one of these situations where they went, they probably didn't tell anybody where exactly they were going.
well, they didn't
Or
have
they
cell
were
phones. They
leaving with.
lived off the grid. So,
They wanted to live off the grid.
yeah,
So they were going to meet with this person.
right.
Their truck was found not too far from where the property was. Yes. This
So
is one
maybe
of
they were
that is
backdooring the property. They wanted to go and take a look at it. And maybe they ran into, was there a big crime during that time? 2009? Um, any big crimes in 2009 that you're aware of? Maybe somebody was
yes.
hiding out. They ran into him, you know?
You are like bringing all the theories together without even knowing you're bringing all the theories together.
Oh, well, that's because, I'm Gabriel von Graves.
I was gonna say, is it because you're Gabriel von Graves?
Yeah.
So let's tie that in then. One
Let's
of the
tie it.
other, but the other major theories was that this was a drug-related crime.
Oh,
Maybe they
absolutely.
maybe they were into drugs.
Yeah. Who
Maybe
isn't? You know
it
what I'm
was a
saying?
drug. I can tell you right now, I'm not. Who isn't? This
Me too.
although you watch some of our episodes, you might think otherwise. It's
Like
fine.
currently, like the one we're on right now. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They're like, oh,
No.
hey, Gabriel's high again. No, not high.
No, that's just his natural state.
Yeah, my natural state. But he's got such a high voice. Yeah. Well, so do you. So congratulations.
You don't
Continue.
have a high voice. What? Okay, so, okay, drugs. Drugs is one of the other big things, right? So some people thought that maybe there was a drug deal that went wrong.
Right.
In this area in 2009, I am agreeing with the chat right now. I'll get there. One of the major things in this area in 2009 was meth. Meth was running rampant
Right.
in this area in Oklahoma. And so some people were kind of claiming that perhaps, when they're walking out to their truck and they're in this kind of state, they're on drugs. And so now they're going out to do the drug deal and something goes wrong. And this is why they are all perhaps unalived after this drug deal. Now, there was no evidence that the Jamesons were ever involved in any kind of drugs. There's no evidence that the Jamesons ever took any drugs or were drug addicts, or not even addicts,
Well,
but
I'm just
users.
gonna throw this out. They lived off their grid, so I'm gonna throw in hippies, right? And I gotta be quite honest with you. I don't meet too many hippies that aren't token to smoking. You know what I'm saying? Just
Okay, but
saying.
they didn't live off the grid yet. They had wanted to
Oh,
live
they
off the grid.
were. So they're just
They
trying to
were
be
trying to
hippies. Okay.
move.
All right.
Yes.
I'm still going with
So
that. They're hitting the smokestack. You know what I'm saying? Just saying that.
they were trying they were trying to move from their supposed haunted house
Right.
off the grid. That's what basically they were trying to do. So that was one of the major theories. The second
It was
major
not
theory
Bigfoot. Can we confirm that it was not Bigfoot? I love the comments, but can we confirm maybe it wasn't Bigfoot?
we can't confirm it wasn't aliens either.
No, it definitely wasn't aliens.
I don't think it was aliens. I don't think so. But I mean, they went missing for so long and then just
Maybe it was a methed out Bigfoot. No, think about it. So Bigfoot's come walking around, right? He's all methed out, blowing bubbles, whatever, right? All of a sudden,
blowing bubbles?
I don't know what
Wait,
Bigfoot
Bigfoot is
does.
blowing bubbles now?
I don't know what he's doing. No, like blowing
I
bubbles.
feel like,
All of a sudden, he steps on these people and he's
can
like,
we put
"Hey,
that on a t-shirt?
yeah,
Because I want to
absolutely,
see that. I love that.
absolutely." And he's like, "Listen, this is my area." And then they're like, "Listen, I'm thinking about buying this chump. You got to get out." And then Bigfoot kills, unalives them. Sorry. And then he goes on blowing bubbles, walks down, going to
I
the
don't think
bar.
so.
People just think this is a hairy dude. I don't know.
He doesn't go to the bar.
How do you know what Bigfoot does?
He
I
blows
mean, he doesn't have a
bubbles.
job, but maybe he's on the system like 80% of the people. I don't know.
Wait, he does have a job. He works for Jack Links.
He does work for Jackie Lakes. Apologies, my friend. Go ahead and get high all you can. My bad.
So hard.
And by
I
the
mean,
way,
he-
Jackie Lakes, if you'd like to sponsor us, we're right down the road. And we don't condone doing drugs and blowing bubbles. Just letting you know.
I totally condone blowing bubbles, just not doing drugs.
What bubbles are we talking about?
I was thinking the actual bubbles.
Oh, okay, yeah. Blow bubbles all you want, I guess.
Okay. Okay, but the problem with that theory is why then is the money in the truck. If they went to go meet with if it was a potential drug deal, whatever,
Okay.
they don't have the money on them. Like, let's say somebody pulled up alongside them, and this is what frustrates me. I mean, of course, I don't know what kind of. They just said that there's no sign of a struggle outside of the truck, anything like that. I don't know what other kind of searching they did to see, like, is there another set of tire tracks? Is there maybe some fingerprints anywhere that aren't theirs? I don't know if they even collected that kind of evidence. Normally, in a missing person case, like, it depends on the situation, but they're not going to always collect that evidence, which is really frustrating when you find, 3 people
Well, they didn't
alive.
have me on the case. I would have solved it. Listen, so they
You
were
already solved
high.
it,
They're riding the
so
lightning, right? So they're gonna meet somebody. They're gonna do some kind of drug deal. Like, listen, let's turn this 32,000 into 64. Then they're gonna turn this 64. No, why are you shaking your no at me? You don't
no,
know. You don't
I
know
do.
that.
Not
Listen,
a,
they're riding the lightning with their daughter, going, "Hey, do you see the pretty lights?" And she's like, "No, you guys are crazy, right?" And then they end up missing. I don't know.
I don't
It
think
didn't
any of
go
that
down like
happened.
that. Well,
No, I don't
so
think
what
so.
surveillance cameras caught them? Was it you say wooded area, and yet there was surveillance
No, no, no,
cameras?
no. Outside
Did
of
they
their
stop
house.
for
This was
gas
outside of
or
their house.
smokes?
Outside of their house. When they left their house, when they were going to their truck, they were bringing stuff back and forth to their
Okay,
truck. They
okay.
had surveillance cameras outside of their house.
And they're walking like zombies.
Hmm.
Could you please demonstrate a zombie walk for me, please?
No.
So how does a zombie walk?
So I learned this on Walking Dead University. They actually have to lead with
I'm
their. They
sorry.
lead.
Can we please go back to Walking Dead University? Can you please explain that to me, please?
Yes. So Robert Kirkman actually was the writer of The Walking Dead comic books and all of that. And
Okay.
then, oh gosh, I can't remember the director of the show. Oh gosh, I can see him in my head, but I can't remember his name. Oh, that's sad.
Did you
Anyway,
take a class, a little
no,
class?
I
How?
watched. I was obsessed with The Walking Dead. I thought
Okay.
you do this, Gabriel. Like obsessed. I every Sunday at 9 o'clock p.m. My kids had to be in bed so I could watch The Walking Dead. No later.
Okay.
No later. It was like a thing. Anyway, obsessed. So they would do these things afterwards where it was like, where, oh gosh, Chris something, he would do an after show after The Walking Dead. So it wasn't enough to just watch The Walking Dead. You then also had to watch the after show. And one of the things that they taught their zombies that came on the show was how to walk like zombies. They didn't want them to do this thing, That's like Frankenstein anyway. They didn't want them to do that. They had to have them do like they did a little shuffle and a
Like they're
little
dragging their
shoulder,
foot. Yeah.
like kind of like this. And I'm not walking, but that's like
And
yeah,
instead
it's a
of
whole thing.
they're like sounds.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
actually made all of their extras who played
Yeah.
zombies
No.
like practice and train so that they all looked
At the university, or is it just you?
right.
Did the actors have
Anyway,
to go to zombie university too? Because that's cool. I like it. You know,
yes, it was part
I
of
like it.
their casting. They got cast as zombies and then they put them through like zombie university
Zombie
and trained them
university.
how to act like zombies.
Right.
Just saying.
Like podcast
You,
university, how to act like a podcast.
yeah. And you had no idea I knew all that stuff. So there's that. Told you.
I don't know if
Really
I
good.
didn't know or didn't really want to know. I'm not quite sure. So you went to
Really into
Zombie
zombies.
University, which is cool. I mean, we're all about education here at Darkwoods Paranormal. I mean, further your education, no problem. I
I
get it.
didn't go to zombie university. I just watched this on a TV show. I would have gone. I would have gone into zombie university. Trust
Did
me.
you also YouTube how to walk like a zombie?
No. Do you
I'm
know how many
guessing you
zombie
did.
crawls I was in that were actually zombie crawls? And I was in a zombie run once where
A
I was a
zombie
zombie.
run?
Yeah. I had professional zombie. It was a whole thing.
There is nothing professional about a zombie run.
No, it was professional makeup. They put professional makeup on
Oh,
you.
makeup,
Zombie.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It was a whole thing. And then you would chase the runners.
I would love a makeup artist if I could get one. Absolutely.
It was
I mean, if they
amazing.
can
It was
clean
so
this up,
cool.
and I don't know if how you can work on perfection, but if it's possible, give it a shot. Why are you shaking your head, Raven? Our
Anyways,
listening audience can't hear you shake your head.
okay, well, they now know that I'm shaking my head at you
Yeah.
because you said if they could, what did you say? Do better with
If they
perfect.
can work on perfection,
Right,
here
right.
is you're a palette. Let's see what you can do.
If you think that Gabriel Von Graves is perfection, please subscribe, comment, and
No,
tell your
don't
friends.
comment. Don't comment. I don't want to read that stuff because they're like, listen, this
I
guy is
do.
delusional. This
Raven
guy's
Knight
blowing
would
bubbles
like to
himself,
hear
is what they're gonna say.
your responses.
I don't want to read them. I don't want to read the responses. So what are some of the theories other than alien abduction?
The
My
fact that you
theories,
already
which you
solved
said I
it.
covered them all already. So
No.
I
Okay,
should
so
maybe they have an investigation universe that I can go to.
I would don't get me started. A couple years ago, I tried to join a cold case coalition. They never did get back to me. Like I was
Occult
in
clay case coordination. What?
cold case.
Oh, cold case.
It's like where they send you cases and then you like real cases and you work and try to solve them. Like they send you all the information and you do it. It was like it's a real thing. Anyway,
Because
portal.
the taxpayer doesn't have enough money, they don't pay
No, this is free.
investigators
It's
anymore.
volunteer. It's volunteer
Oh, okay.
work. It's
Oh,
volunteer. Because do you know how many? There's so many cold cases out there.
right.
And so detectives are so busy trying to solve the cases that are current that
Absolutely.
there's a lot of cases that go on the back burner, and that's where
Right.
they sit for a long time. They usually have one person that works cold cases, but there's just so many, there's no way they're gonna get through them all, which is really
Including the
unfortunate.
Jamesons.
Well, and this is a case that's never been solved, actually.
No, that's what we're talking about. True Crime Thursdays.
This is a case that's never been solved.
All things true crime.
So we were talking, I mean, one of the theories is something that you were talking about. So the plan was to go meet the person that owned this piece of land.
Right.
Right? So that is another theory. Maybe they went to go meet this person and for some weird reason, the person decided to murder them. Maybe it was even a setup. Now we've heard of these things happening before where,
Right.
like Facebook Marketplace, for example, you're never going to go to somebody's house. Just don't do it. Be smart, right? Don't go to a stranger's
And don't
house.
go in people's basements. All that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
don't do that.
Yeah.
That's how you end up missing. But so maybe that's what it was, right? Maybe they went to go meet with this person. Maybe they had the money, but they didn't have the money out right away. And so maybe they weren't going to pay for it when this person murdered them or whatever it is.
Maybe the property was like $200,000. Like, listen, give me $32,000 cold cash. And the guy's like, bye. And it's just awesome. The whole family right there. Is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, that seems like a silly motive, doesn't just a ridiculous motive of why would somebody just off them like that?
So one of our listening audience would like to know about portals. So sure, they're walking through. I mean, we've seen it before. Listen, we've been in places that literally felt like there was a portal. So they're walking through, right? They're walking through. They go to a portal, right? And then these guys are some crazy hippies. So then they put time. Time is not always the same here as it would be in a different portal area, a different world. I would assume time would be different. And then all of a sudden, boo, they go spit out. They're all together, other side of the portal, boom. 3-4 years later, they're walking by. They're like, hey, there's the Jamesons. We got you 32,000,
So
please don't even comment on that, please.
no, I mean, I agree with it. So that's my problem
They
with
would have taken
the
the truck and money. Somebody just mentioned, hey,
unless
taken truck and money. Absolutely. I would have taken the truck and money and probably a dog because here at Darkwoods Paranormal, we are animal lovers.
So my thought was, what if they get outside the truck and they're supposed to meet this person somewhere, right? So they start walking further down, whatever. Somebody picks them up in some other vehicle. And I'll get to, I really have a thought on something, but
Okay.
I'm going to go back to it. Somebody picks them up, like, hey, let me show you the space, whatever. Let me show you the land. But doesn't realize, maybe the intent was to rob them, right? So they think that they have the money on them. It's not even about selling the land, it's about to rob them.
Right.
So they pick them up, they think they have the money, they go to rob them, they don't have the money.
I like it.
They might not even know where the truck is, or, and I tried to look to see how busy this location was. It didn't seem super busy, but my thought was, what if they tried to go back to the truck and something was happening by the time they went back to the truck or found the truck and they couldn't actually get to the truck. Now that moment is gone and they can't actually get to the money, or they might not even think the money's in the truck. Maybe they don't even know the money is in the truck at all. Maybe
Right.
they think that these people showed up and didn't bring the money. That could be a motive for murder. Like, they were going to rob them initially. There's no money, and now
Gets
we have to
frustrated at the situation, off
and
all three, and now, I mean, you got three bodies, so, he's like, well, I got to dispose of them, but he doesn't want bones, in his house, so he ends up putting them kind of by, the truck. Mistakenly didn't know that's where the truck
Mhm.
originally was parked, 3 miles away.
Right. So the other thing that I was thinking is, now you have a 6-year-old child, right? That's it. I have a really big problem with a
Not
6-year-old
that I know
child.
of.
No,
Okay, well, I
no,
thought you
not
said
you. I'm just
you have a
saying,
6. I'm like,
I
okay,
don't have a 6-year-old child. They had a 6-year-old child.
right.
The problem that I have, now you've had children, right?
I
I've had
I
children.
I am aware of the concept of children. Yes.
Okay, okay. What 6-year-old is going to walk 3 miles?
0.
Exactly. So my whole thing is, unless, and we'll get to the next theory, which would be the lost theory, unless they got terribly lost and they just wandered for a long time,
Right.
no 6-year-old is going to walk 3 miles. To me, that means somebody maybe picked them up and they were taken somewhere. Also, the thought that they were all, when they were found, they were all laying face down and in a row, almost execution style, is kind of what it sounds like too. Because another thing is, like, if you're face down, like, if you're going to unalive somebody and you don't want to look at them when you're doing it, you're not going to do it from the front, right? Like, you're
You
going
sound very
to.
confident every time you talk about unaliving people. You really seem to be very confident in that aspect. I don't think we
Gabriel,
should
I
ever
had
hang out
two
together
true
again.
crime podcasts. I had two true crime podcasts before we met.
Oh,
I was raised on Dateline and Law and Order and Unsolved Mysteries. Like, those were when everyone was watching Full House and Family Matters, I was watching Dateline NBC. I used to watch murder shows as a bedtime routine. So,
so for them to be found face
based
down
on,
definitely
yeah.
does show that the killer didn't want to look at her, maybe was embarrassed of the act or regretful of the act, so you put the face down so you don't have to see him.
Hmm.
I would say it's very feasible, plausible perhaps, that as they're getting out of their car, they're meeting somebody somewhere, and it could have just been, surprise, there's three people, thought there's only be one, driving around showing the property, you know, um,
Yeah.
killed them, tried to decompose the bodies, you know, for some reason decided, I don't have the mind of a serial killer. I'm sure you could probably tell us your theory because you seem to. And then and then they just unalived him and put him face down, kind of in the area where they found him. It's possible. It's also
Yeah.
possible that they walked into a drug thing, shot, you know, bodies. No one discovered them. Right? They had some dirt, some sand, so covered up the bodies a little bit. Weather happens. All
Hmm.
of a sudden, the bodies start being um, uh, re- seen, and then animals could have ate them. Who knows?
So the thing about animals, so I thought about that too, but their remains weren't scattered. So if animals had gotten to them and dug them up, like, that's a fair thing if they had dug them up. But if they weren't scattered, that tells me that animals hadn't really been able to really get to them. Does that make
Maybe
sense? Because
they
otherwise,
did some Breaking Bad stuff and used a big plastic tub, you know, put some acid,
no, 'cause there
burnt them
wouldn't have
all
been
up.
any bones left.
What?
There wouldn't have been any skeletal remains if they would have used the acid.
See, you scare me. You have this knowledge that I just, you know. How's your kids doing, by the way? I'm just checking. Just
I
checking.
don't think they'd walk 3 miles either. You know what I mean?
No, God, no,
Listen,
God, no.
listen. I have
No.
older kids. I don't know if they're
Can't
gonna
get
walk
my
3
son to walk a block or even down at the end of the pasture. I mean, 3 miles. So
So we
obviously,
know. Yeah.
walking 3 miles, they must have been kidnapped along the site. But if you kidnap somebody or you did somebody, would you not try to dispose of the truck? Or maybe it was the thrill of disposing, unaliving of people and seeing if you can get caught.
Well, maybe. Um, I want to go into our next theory though.
No. Go ahead.
I know you're certain this is the answer. It could be the answer. I mean, it's very plausible. But
Cult involvement.
let's talk about some of the other theories. So the next theory is that maybe they did just come to check out the land. Maybe they weren't actually meeting this person at
Yeah.
this time, and they went to check out the land. And they got out of the truck. They left their dog in the truck as like, oh, we're just gonna kind of look around, kind of deal, and we'll be back. Like we're not really trying to, leave the dog in the truck. So the thought is that maybe they just went and started walking a little bit and they weren't familiar with the territory. It was kind of rugged terrain. And maybe they did get lost and they wandered. They wandered for 3 miles and then they just succumbed to the elements. That is another theory. Again, we don't have any, I guess, evidence of how they died, right? So very possibly they could have just another case of misadventure, which we've talked about before. Maybe
Absolutely.
they just succumbed to the elements, and maybe them laying face down and close together was just because that's just the way they died. I mean, they were just close together because they were a family. Yeah, I mean that's the next theory. They just got lost and wandered.
But face down, so I'm lost, right? I'm lost in the woods. Probably we're gonna be all snuggled up, looking up at the stars, right? We're not gonna be putting our face down in the dirt. That's how I would do it. I mean, so you're holding your families, you're lost, you're cold, you're hungry, so you're holding them. So face down would tell me that, something happened, somebody disposed of the bodies, I would think. So if
Yeah.
I was gonna dispose of a body, face down, I guess, because you're throwing them, you don't want to look at what you just did. So I guess, I don't know about the whole getting lost in the woods thing.
Yeah.
I would say
Come back.
maybe initially, why not? Right? You get lost in the woods, you run into some meth head, Bigfoot cooking meth with his buds, who knows? And then all of a
And
sudden,
blowing bubbles, apparently.
what's that?
And blowing bubbles.
Blowing
Up here.
bubbles, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you're saying theory 3 is not very plausible to you. All right.
Well, I mean, to me, it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, if you're with your family and you're scared, you would be holding each other, trying to caress each other, because you're scared. You know what's going to happen. You guys would all snuggle together, kind of holding them. At least that's what I picture.
I agree with this though. And also, I mean, it's not only that, it's October in Oklahoma. I don't really know the weather in Oklahoma.
I don't know the weather in Oklahoma either, but I'm assuming it would be cold, right? Cooler
I'm
at night, at least.
For sure.
Okay.
So I think that's very fair that they probably would have been snuggled together, whether for the cold or whether because, comfort.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so the next theory would be murder and suicide. I don't even know if we can say that. Well, we just did. So I guess that's the next theory. So we know that they were struggling. So
They had
Bobby-
$32,000. They were struggling. You mean with the mental capacity?
mental
Okay.
health, yes. Their mental health they were struggling. So Bobby, the dad, he was depressed. He couldn't work full time.
Right.
He had that car accident. He was having some issues with that, with his mental health.
Right.
And then he had an issue with his father too. So I guess there was something about his dad I don't know what kind of, there was some sort of custody battle between Bobby and his dad. I'm not quite sure what that was about.
Okay.
And then Sherilyn, she also was diagnosed with bipolar, so she was having some mental health struggles as well. So one of the theories is that maybe, and for some reason, like when I did look into this, it seemed like they blamed more Sherilyn than they did actually Bobby. That maybe she was the person to have unalived both her husband and her child and then herself.
So, but how does that work? So you unalive your family. How do you how do you fall face first too? Wouldn't you be kind of falling backwards?
Ooh, I have to think about how.
Because you're like, hey, I just placed them face first. Me too. I'm next. Boom. Right. I mean,
Depends on
maybe I
how
can
you
see
do
it.
it.
Maybe she was kneeling, but they would see a gunshot of some kind because there'd be, holes in the skull, right? Or somewhere,
You know
I
what else?
would think. I mean, I've never shot
Did you?
anybody. You probably did. So, I mean, you don't know. You can tell me.
I did not.
I don't know. I'm just speculating. That's all it is.
No, but you know what else they didn't find? A gun.
How about
So
how about an exit wound? Evidence that there was some intrusion into the body.
I want to say there was something that I read, and I don't know how true it is. That's the thing, that there was a gunshot wound in Bobby's head. That being said, I don't know how true that is. I don't know
Okay.
where that piece of information came from, so I can't say that that's a real.
The interwebs, we always know how accurate those things are.
Right. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. All I know is
Right.
that the bodies were so decomposed that they couldn't verify. They couldn't. And what they'll do is when they can't say that, uh, when they can't say what the cause of death is, they just say it's undetermined, right? So that's
Right.
usually what they
Right.
do. Is
Absolutely. Undetermined. Yep.
when they can't figure it out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was just another theory, though. Maybe it was, they're struggling mentally and they do it to themselves. I want to bring up a very weird theory, though, for you. And we'll see
I'll
what
shoot
you
it down.
think.
Go ahead.
I know you will. Because I think you're pretty determined on what the theory is or what
Oh,
you're.
absolutely. Yeah.
But, so you and I are paranormal people. And
Well,
they
I'm a
believe.
person. I just happen to like the paranormal. I mean, if that matters
Okay,
at all.
fine. Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Right.
So they believed that their house was haunted, right? Now they both have these already mental health issues as well.
Absolutely.
Um,
And one could say that the mental health issues, not to cut you off, actually could extend from the haunted house. I mean, if something's trying to mess with you and it being haunted, be malevolent, it more than likely would be evil. And what
mhm,
they do is they keep on messing with you, right? They keep on chiseling you down. That's what I would think.
right. So is it possible, right, that either the house was holding some evil energy or something that then impacted them? Maybe Bobby and Sherilyn were experiencing things in their house. They're walking out to the truck to me means maybe they were exhausted. Maybe they're staying up all night. Maybe they're facing things in their house. Maybe this is why they want to move out of their house. They need to get out of their house and they need to get away from this. And so they're trying to get as far away from it as possible, whatever's going on with them. To me, like maybe that's what they're just in that zombie state because they've been
Well,
dealing with this.
that doesn't seem too far-fetched at all. It sounds very
Okay.
plausible.
So what if, right? The things that were happening in their house actually slowly started to drive them even a little bit more insane, or not, I don't want to say insane, but like started to drive them more mentally off that cliff, whatever. So they do get to this place, but there could be a level of paranoia. They're dealing with all this stuff where they're at. They get to this place, they park their truck, they're going to go check out this new location, but for some reason, something happens where their paranoia gets even more paranoia, like it goes up another level, and they do leave and they do walk and start to do this whole thing. What if like they're just borderline psychosis at this point and they're trying to get out of a situation that's not even existing, and that's how they end up where they end up?
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense, Raven. It really does.
Thank you. That was a me theory.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't like it, but it makes sense.
So I don't know if you know about the Elisa Lamb case. It was the woman that was, she had some sort of, I want to say bipolar. She was in the Cecil Hotel, which is one of the most haunted hotels in America, but no longer.
We should go.
Well, they don't let anybody in anymore. It is, they will not let anybody in.
Do they know who I am?
Good call. I don't think it's even an option anymore because so much has happened in that building with paranormal activity. The Night Stalker, who was a serial killer, a very creepy serial killer, actually used to stay there, kind of deal. But she, after her situation, they ended up closing this hotel down because there was a very scary video footage of in the hotel where she was playing what looked like peekaboo with the elevator doors, where the theories are either she was being chased by a ghost or a spirit that no one could see, or she was having an episode. And this to me kind of, I mean, I'm like thinking this could resemble that. Maybe they just, whether or not their house was actually haunted or not, something was happening in their house. They left to go look at another place, and then they end up mysteriously missing and then also unalived. Could it tie together, you know?
Throw some Bigfoot in there, some meth? Absolutely.
And then that brings you back to meth, because meth will also make you very paranoid. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, would they get high with their daughter? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I would like to think that no parent would. So,
you would like to think, but
I mean,
it happened.
2019, 2009, this happened?
This was 2009. Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, I can see in 2009. I think back in like the 70s and 80s, I don't think parents would really get high in front of their kid, but I can see in the 2000s, absolutely.
Yeah. So somebody in the chat just said 3 altogether, and actually, and I don't, oh gosh, I'm not going to know the name of it. There actually is a real thing that happens. It's a psychosis that happens among people when they live together. So like, it is a shared psychosis. Oh gosh, I can't think of the name for it, and I'm sure somebody out there is
Family?
probably like, oh, it's this. No, but where people can actually have the same shared delusions. It's a real thing that occurs. So somebody starts having a delusion, and somebody that they're really close with can actually do that too. Oh, that's a great question. If somebody asked in the chat, can you get copies of case files now? If it is a open case, you actually cannot get copies of case files. It is only if it is a closed case you have access. So if the case is open, there's no access to case
Yeah,
files.
but she was 6. The daughter was 6. What delusions would a 6-year-old have in
I don't think that
2009?
she would be having them. She is 6, and she is at the vulnerability of what her parents are having her do.
Yeah, but you still have
right?
to
So-
unalive each other and with the face down. How does that work?
See, I don't know. I think if you did unalive 2 people and then you unalived yourself, depending on which way you did it, you would possibly fall face down depending on which way you do it.
Okay.
I think it's possible.
All right.
All that to be said, those are the theories. Are you, after all of that, are you still stuck on your original theory?
I'm going with that they probably met with somebody, and then a deal went bad, or perhaps maybe it was a personality conflict, and then they had disagreement. More than likely executed, and then the bodies during the search were overlooked, perhaps. And just by happenstance, the animals get at it, other than like little things that, would normally happen. And then 3.5, 4 years later, all of a sudden some hunters stumble on, and they're like, "Hey, look at this!" So it's very possible that it happened in that same time that they dropped off the car, and
Hmm.
it was just overlooked. I mean, we weren't there when they're doing the search team. You would think they'd have dogs and stuff, but it's very possible that they could have been overlooked.
And they probably did have dogs. I mean, I don't know exactly what they had, but if they had all these ATVs and helicopters and all this, like it's hard to. I kind of think it is weird that they didn't find them right
Well,
where
you
they
think
were.
the
3 miles
bodies would be
isn't
covered
far.
up a little bit. Maybe he threw some brush on them that wouldn't that a helicopter wouldn't see, right? Some foliage that's in the area. Then all of a sudden, you know, 3.5 years later, hunters are stumbling across this. So
Yeah.
very possible.
I,
Very
I
sad
think
case. It's always disturbing when a whole family goes missing. We never like to hear that.
it is, and I think it's. I always have a problem with cases that are not solved too, because it's like, what happened to this family? What made them want to go to this location, or was it just an innocent? They were going to this location to check out this new land to start over again, and this is what happened. Plus, they were already kind of having rough times with some of their
Right, with the mental issues and,
and yeah.
him having financial issues, not out of work, but yet, here they are with their life savings and they're about to do a different start. I don't know. So if you're taking, I mean, you already made the momentum to go to a new place. So the whole suicidal thing, it doesn't make sense to me because you made the effort to go and look at a property. I mean, you brought the cash, you brought your family to survey it, kind of. I
Yeah.
think more than likely, it was a kidnapping, and their bodies were just overlooked the first time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when we talk about things that are probably most plausible, like that one does make the most sense. We know they were going there to
Yeah.
meet somebody and then you're right though with the face down thing and the fact that they weren't found for a while. Like that's a very fair point. They could have been covered up. That's why they didn't see them. Like somebody could have covered them up. Time, 4 years, weather, things change, like things get moved around,
Right.
and now there's the
Absolutely.
bodies. So
Absolutely. And it's a
that
sad.
makes
Once again, families go missing. It's very very sad. Mental conditions are not. I mean, we would hope anybody with those kinds of circumstances would find help. 2009, they definitely would be medicated, at least on some kind of a free government medication for the mental state. But I definitely would think that more than likely they were executed and the bodies were overlooked.
yeah. I think after like really doing more research on this, that's kind of where I think that's where I'm at too. Honestly, there's just too many coincidences for me.
Right.
I think the person who perhaps met with them thought they had the cash, didn't realize they didn't have the cash on them, and then and that's why the cash was left in the truck. That's why I think the cash was still there.
Right, which is a smart move. I mean, when I go look at things at marketplace or whatever it is, I they always say cash, and I'm like, well, I look at it first, and then I'll go cash because I don't want them to know I have the cash on me, right? Because
Right.
I don't want to be robbed. It makes sense.
And you think of like this was 2009, like we didn't have that same, I don't want to say mentality, but it's probably
We had
true.
Craigslist though, did we?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like we wouldn't have had the same kind of, okay, probably don't go to
The
this
guarded,
person's
yeah, absolutely.
house.
Yep.
Like go meet somebody in a public space versus meet them
Right.
at their house or bring somebody with you, which they did though, like maybe that was it too. Like they did bring, hey, we're just coming as a family, like we're safe because we have
Non-threatening,
somebody.
absolutely. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah,
Absolutely.
who's gonna do anything to us? It's a family.
Right. Right. We're just looking at buying some property.
Yeah, yeah, which is really unfortunate,
But
but
then you think of 40 acres for 32,000. That doesn't make sense either. But maybe they're just trying to buy a quarter. I just want to buy this little corner of your property or something.
and
And then
maybe they
he's
were
like,
just
"Hey,
bringing.
you got to buy the whole 40 or nothing." And he's like, "I just want this little corner. Why don't you just sell me this little corner, right?" So maybe an
Yeah,
argument pursued. You don't know.
yeah, that's very fair right there. So I don't know. That's kind of my thought too, Gabriel. But interesting case, though, right? Like
Very
just
interesting case. Very, very
uh,
interesting.
one
Very
of the
sad. I mean,
craziest
every time it
cases.
involves families and stuff, it always jerks at
Hmm.
the heart. You never like to hear those kind of stories at all. Glad the dog's okay, of course. I mean,
Yeah. So there's that. The dog made it. But yeah, just what a that case kind of says it's one of the most unsolved or more mysterious cases out there. So I think we'll probably add that to the list of cases I would love to have an answer to eventually.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, and so, my friends, we come to the end of the Jameson story. Wouldn't you say, Rave?
I think so. Yeah,
A,
hopefully we'll find an answer soon. But
right? A case that still wrapped in silence, evidence without answers, questions that echo louder than the wind through those Oklahoma hills. We may never know what truly happened to Bobby, Sherilyn, and the young Madison, but their absence remains a presence, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are carved too deep to ever be forgotten. I want to thank my dear friend and co-host, the brilliant Raven Knight, for walking this path alongside me through the shadows and silence. And to all of you listeners, remember you can find our past episodes, future journeys, and all things unexplained at darkwoods.paranormal.com. Join us on social media and share your theories, your thoughts, and your questions. The discussion never really has to end here. Next week, we return with another case carved in blood and shadow. And don't forget, this Sunday, we step away from true crime and we dive headlong into the hearts of all things paranormal. Until then, stay aware, stay curious, and most of all, my friends, do stay safe out there.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Ray.